2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom, baby. And welcome to your favorite decentralized tech podcast. I'm Josh. You know me as Eat, Lift, Program. And today, we're going to discuss what would happen if the electricity grids just all went out. What would happen to Bitcoin specifically? And you guys can probably hear the squeaking dog underneath me. So bear with me, friends. I can't remove the ball because guys, I can't take the ball from the dog because I would just feel like a bad guy. I just can't do it. Okay, just can't. But all right, so we're talking like, all right, guys, get your tinfoil hats out. Okay, we're talking like worst case scenario, whatever you want. If there's an EMP, if China attacks our power grids, if Russian supercoders or whatever come and like do something to knock the power out, what would happen to Bitcoin? Because that's kind of like one of the biggest arguments that people who are like no coiners, no pun intended, or people who are just against Bitcoin in general, that's one of the biggest arguments that they have is, well, like, what if the power goes out? You guys are fucked. Next to what happens if quantum computing comes out. We talked about that before, but that's not what this stream is about. If you guys do want to talk about that, we can. But I'm going to talk about specifically what would happen if electricity didn't exist, right? So therefore, like what? Okay, so first of all, we have to kind of like get a glimpse at what the world would look like without electricity. Because if we take electricity out of the equation, it's more than just your computer that doesn't work, right? The internet stops, put to a halt. At least the internet locally in your area. Maybe the internet in other parts of the world are still going. Okay. What else? Street lights. Well, guys, honestly, and instead of me sitting here and like naming every single thing, honestly, and you guys know if you're my viewers, everything is plugged into a machine and plugged into the internet nowadays. So like everything, and I mean almost everything, would be offline. All right, including cars too. A lot of cars would be, and not just like Teslas or hybrids. There would probably be issues with people getting gas from pump stations. I mean, all kinds of stuff, right? Maybe not initially or at the bat, but you guys, y'all get the drift, right? You guys get the drift. Nonstop Dre 360 says, are the EMPs getting dropped soon? I don't know. I said yes. Kyle also said yes. Alex Quintazzo says, howdy. What's up, dude? Good to see you, Alex. Christian Soto with the fire emojis in the chat. Light says, clown. He is a fucking clown. Light Yagamaru is a clown. Nonstop Dre 360 says, realistically, what would happen if EMPs got dropped in every first world country? What would be the effect of it on crypto? All right. Thank you for saying first world country, because you actually set it up. You set my response up perfectly for that question. Okay. Do you believe that all the third world countries will still have electricity, which we already know they have problems with, right? But what about, actually, let's just make this situation, let's go all out here. every single power grid in the entire world is offline. Okay. Now, first off, we have like a first layer of defense, which is obviously generators, right? Generators, which are powered by what? Gas and oil. The things that they hate that they want you to get rid of now, right? Because the best part about that is gas and oil are storable and they don't go bad. Okay. And funny that we're on that topic because the people in the White House recently have decided to alleviate some of the increased gas prices by basically giving out all of our military grade stored gas and oil. And that gas and oil, by the way, guys, that's not just like the United States wasn't just storing that to sell it to people to bring inflated prices down. They were storing that in case a situation like this happened. So kind of funny. Maybe it's almost like they want us to have all of our defenses down. Different topic though. So Nonstop Dre, we'll talk about this. We'll actually just allude to the fact that everything is offline. All right. Ashley Schaefer, BMW in the house, says, good evening, Supercoders. Good evening to you too, sir. A good evening indeed. T-Man Scott says, thanks for this topic. My boomer dad isn't quite sold on BTC because he thinks debt, internet, electricity will kill him. Don't worry. Just keep pounding away at him. He'll come to the light soon. And if not, he's going to be forced to come to the light eventually anyway. So everyone will. It would be funny if the Amish had Bitcoin secretly. If there was a cryptocurrency the Amish would have, it would be Bitcoin. That's for damn sure. I've heard some second world countries are starting to adopting Bitcoin. Yep. El Salvador, we're going to talk about that tonight. Refrigerators, all the food would spoil. Yeah, a lot of food would be bad. For sure. All right. So one thing that nobody knows, and I can't talk about other cryptocurrencies right now because I'm only informed about this aspect on Bitcoin. However, when it does come to all cryptocurrencies, like if a protocol goes offline, meaning like all the nodes, or there's a problem so we saw like Solana network like went down. When it comes back online, everything's fine. It's not like when it goes down that like everything gets deleted, right? All these nodes and validators, the data for the immutable ledger, which is what a blockchain is stored locally on all these nodes and validators. Okay. So when they come back online, like everything's okay. All right. Obviously, like when it's offline, none of those transactions can work. And if there's a transaction just going on in the midst of the shutdown, you probably maybe it got accepted, maybe it didn't, depends on how fast your transaction happened, but those are probably going to be null and void. But it's better than having the whole immutable ledger just erased from existence, right? So that goes for all cryptocurrencies. Like when they come back online later on, right, they're perfectly fine. So whenever the issue that caused all the electricity to go down is resolved, come back and it's all good, right? Which, as someone who was, as a small town Southern man, as someone who's born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, like everybody has like 2 or 3 separate generators in their house, gas power generators. So like electricity goes down, half the city still has some power because like everybody has their generators running. You can go outside after a hurricane and just hear all throughout the city. Brrr. So we're also making the assumption that that no people, like actual people, have the means to produce power, and then businesses and the government itself, right? So that would be the worst case scenario if you guys didn't have the information that I'm about to give you. The worst case scenario would just be what? Like these things go offline, and when they come back, it's all good. Oh, never mind. I thought this comes from news. Sorry, guys. Okay. But about Bitcoin specifically, I have something I would love to share with you guys. So I heard Mark Moss, the other day talking about how there is people who have basically created a way to run Bitcoin transactions through just regular radio waves. All right. Now, obviously, like you would need some sort of power for the radio waves, but like any person that has batteries can do this. All right. And you don't have to keep the radio wave running 24/7. If you were trying to be conservative on like stored electricity, like with a battery, if you wait to when it was needed, put the battery in, take it out when it's not. Hold on one second, guys. My dog is moving the camera yet again, so I'm going to be right back while you guys watch this. What's up, guys? I'm Josh, or as you probably know me, eLift Program, and I'm here to talk to you about Developer Direction. What is Developer Direction, you might ask? We are the ultimate IT network and training academy. Ever heard of Fight Club? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with more computing power. We teach and give courses just like boot camps, but that's not all. We help people actually get jobs, unlike colleges, and we help people get better jobs with better pay and a better life. Here at DD, you don't get grades because your performance is reflected upon by how good you're doing in the real world. You won't accumulate hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt because we offer a one-time yearly fee that's a fraction of that price. And you won't be wasting your time learning about the latest and greatest social trends because you'll be too busy learning about the latest and greatest trends in the tech and IT market. From courses to networking to problem solving to teaming up together on projects, giving and receiving mentorship, we've got it all. So whether you're a beginner who knows nothing about code or tech, a college student, or a 50-year vet, we got you covered. So head on over to developerdirection.com, sign up for the mail list if you want to keep up with our latest and greatest. Oh, God. I'm going to take that ball away, dog. Anyway, guys, back to the show when I'm less distracted. Okay, so, hey. Guys, should I throw the dogs off the balcony? Would that make for a good show? All right, so if you didn't know that was the case, you can actually run transactions. And like there's a whole plethora of things that you can do that is outside of the scope of my understanding with this, but you can also use the Bitcoin network, specifically the Lightning Network, a layer 2, to do this insanely fast. And apparently you can encrypt your communications through the radio waves with this protocol too. So you can literally use the Bitcoin network to still work the way that it does. In fact, insanely fast because you can use the Lightning as well, and you can communicate through the radio waves in an encrypted manner too, locally. So you can have this set up in like a 1 mile radius, so that it's just like, I don't know, you and your boys. Worst case scenario, into the world. Fallout for you and your boys got to like hop from city to city, whatever. You can do it exactly like that, which is pretty cool. And there's a couple other things, and now that part I don't understand how to do. But anyway, let's just read this article, and let's allow the article to tell us the deal on this. All right. So this is from news.bitcoin.com, and this is from a while ago. This is February 19th, 2019. So there's been an insane amount of improvements to it, but this is the first one, so I wanted to go over it with you guys. The article's titled, "No Internet, No Problem. How to Send Bitcoin by Amateur Radio." Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool if you're a nerd like me. In an age where governments are trigger happy at censoring or shutting down networks, it is reassuring to know that Bitcoin can operate sans internet. Network censorship, after all, is not some dystopian storyline, but a power exercise by many democratic governments across the world. And it's funny because this is from February 2019. If only the writer of this article knew how things were today, maybe they knew. Maybe they did. Maybe they had an idea. Thankfully, there are solutions that enable people to send and receive Bitcoin, even in a worst case scenario. For an advanced technology, it turns out that cryptocurrency can get surprisingly low tech. And what do we know about the Bitcoin network too? It is like the network, the layer 1 itself is extremely low tech compared to other cryptocurrencies, right? Which is actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing for many reasons, but number one, because like if you're thinking about explain to you guys like this. If you're thinking about building a castle, perhaps a citadel, do you think it would be the smartest thing to do to build the citadel on a bunch of fancy sand that is colored and has like spots and it's got potpourri on it? Maybe it's not boring, but it looks really cool. Or do you think that it would be a better idea to build that citadel on a foundation of steel or maybe just concrete? Boring, doesn't do a whole lot, but it's really sturdy and secure. That's why it being low tech is kind of a good thing. Send Bitcoin by radio and circumvent network censorship. Imagine waking up one morning to find out that the internet is down. Not because the Wi-Fi has been disconnected. Instead, your government has pulled the plug, or rather pulled the rug. You have no idea when it'll be back online. And in the meantime, you're cut off from life as you know it. Ranging from contact with loved ones abroad to paying for anything by card. Since society isn't big on keeping cash these days, and ATMs stock up on only so much paper money at a time, chances are you'll have to sidestep or engage in a few fist fights if you're to put a meal on the table. I would argue too, like if this is going on, people really aren't going to even want. People probably really might not want Bitcoin or gold initially or cash. They're gonna want to fucking eat and to survive too. So in that case, honestly, the worst. Keeping your Bitcoin safe, you don't have to worry about it. I would just literally just forget about it and just know, as long as you have your private keys memorized in your head, that whenever this is all said and done, you got what you need. But you'd probably be more concerned about staying alive first, right? So let's continue. Since Bitcoin is itself a form of digital currency, it takes a good amount of pre-planning to set up a transaction. But in theory, it can still operate even when conventional options are forcefully removed from the equation. It's a tweet from Jason A. Williams, quote, parabolic guy, end quote. Wow, what a nice CryptoPunkish avatar. What do Greeks, Cypriots, Venezuelans, Argentinians, Brazilians, Zimbabweans, and Ukrainians have in common? They all woke up one day and the banks were shuttered and capital controls were put in place to avoid an economic collapse. Bitcoin doesn't close. With most of us, hopefully, never experience a dystopian world of intermittent internet. Oh, I wouldn't be too sure about that. The productivity sages remind us that a failure to plan is planning to fail. Knowing how to transact with cryptocurrency in a chaotic world is the sort of knowledge that might just come in handy one day, and in the meantime, will make you the most interesting guest at the dinner party. Depending on the political stability of your geographical location, learning how to send Bitcoin without internet could be nothing more than a fun Saturday afternoon science project. I think Kyle would love to do that. Kyle, am I right? Actually, Kyle, when you come back in town, let's do it. Then again, it could provide the way out of a tight spot one day. Whether it's transferring funds to a buddy stuck in the middle of the ocean or bribing a zombie to feast on the coins stored in your brain wallet instead of devouring your brain. That's actually, whoever wrote that article actually did a pretty good job. Pretty good job, I have to say. You're funny. You're a funny guy. So Bitcoin over airwaves. 2014 saw the earliest mentions of Bitcoin being sent via airwaves. Harm Radio Coin was one of the earliest vanity altcoins geared at the ham radio industry. While it wasn't entirely clear why said niche industry needed a dedicated currency, its current $794 market cap, unchanged since May 2017. Holy shit. $794 market cap adds to crypto's rich historical arsenal of questionable coins. But the idea of marrying Marconi and Satoshi was bound to lead to more useful experiments. A step in the right direction saw Finnish company Vertaisvaluutta.fi propose the creation of a peer-to-peer half-duplex CB/ham radio cryptocurrency. Also in Finland, Crypto Radio partnered with a national broadcaster to pilot a cryptocurrency data transmission system that broadcast Bitcoin transactions, blocks as well, and currency exchange data via national DVB-T television networks in real time. The project failed to launch its commercial phase, with founder Joel blah, blah, blah explaining, what does this guy explain? The project raised a huge audience, and there has been some serious commercial interest, but nothing I'm really interested in because they would destroy the original idea of crypto radio, distributing the Bitcoin ledger autonomously without internet connectivity. Fast forward to 2018, there was a new experiment in town. Ingredients Brooklyn-based Gotenna, a mobile, long-range, off-grid consumer mesh network, and Bitcoin privacy wallet. Samurai Wallet, a New Zealand developer transported crypto from a distance of 12.6 kilometers away, entirely offline, using only a network disconnected Android phone and 4 portable antennas. That's pretty cool. Though at his Twitter recount acknowledges it took one heck of a prep, including setup and relay stations. So he says, over the weekend, I sent a Bitcoin transaction to a relay 12.6 kilometers away. That's pretty far, with no cell network or internet connection. Here's a tweet storm about how I used Gotenna and Samurai Wallet to do it. Fast forward to this year, and in perhaps the most simplistic effort yet, CoinKnife founder Rodolfo Novak managed to move BTC some 600 kilometers away from Toronto, Canada, to OpenBazaar. Wow. Co-founder Sam Peterson in Michigan, USA. Holy shit. And in that moment, Bitcoin by Sky went international. Advocates by Bitcoin by Air. In 2017, computer scientist Nick Szabo and PhD researcher Elaine OU delved into the topic at Stanford's Scaling Bitcoin conference, introducing a research project that proposed tethering Bitcoin to radio broadcast to secure consensus proof using weak signal radio propagation. With Novak and Patterson's latest fear, crypto Twitter went wild. Szabo, showing that he's still a firm proponent of taking Bitcoin skyward, chimed in to congratulate the duo for a successful send-off. The other guy that tried and did it before, that didn't do an insanely far amount of distance, congratulated him. Oh wow, that's cool. Bitcoin sent over 7.077 megahertz via SJ8 call. Sam Platt, sweet blockchain. I got the transaction right there from Toronto, Canada to Michigan, United States. Damn, that is nuts. That is nuts, gentlemen. So, on to the part that you guys are here for, how to actually send Bitcoin by radio wave. As Novak and Peterson illustrated, you don't need to overload a gear or make space for a satellite storage in your backyard to send Bitcoin by air. Accompanied by SDR, Ham on this quest was nothing more than 40 MZMHz megahertz, something like that, antenna, and the JS8 call application. While the setup seems simple enough, Google ham radio for engineers for a primer. In practice, this is probably not something you'll dive into unless you're just messing around or in real life shit gets real. Yeah, good point. In truth, there are restrictions aplenty when it comes to sending Bitcoin by radio. First off, legalities. Second, legal restrictions is the mother of invention. And then there's prepping for it. This is all to be viable. Yes, you want to get that wallet set up, the type of wallet. Scalability, a big bottleneck. Why radio waves transmissions might be necessary. Well, we know an answer, a couple answers to that. You guys can think of some stuff. Bitcoin for every situation. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this article in the chat for you guys to have in case you guys do want to check this out. But, all right. So this was from 27. This article is from 2019. All right. From my understanding, there is a lot more that you can do now, which I guess I should have actually brought to the stream. So I apologize to you guys for that. And also, if you want to check out more, like Mark Moss also didn't explain the technical aspects of all these things. But if you do want to know his consensus of like what would happen to cryptocurrency if the electricity went out, go watch that video too. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's on his channel somewhere in the last like month or two. And he's at least bit concerned as well. This is awesome. If crypto is sinnable with airwaves or airwaves, then crypto is unstoppable. Okay. All right. So another thing too that this article doesn't point out, and I was trying to talk about as well, or I wanted to talk about, explain, was that we also already have Bitcoin nodes running in space on Starlinks, whatever satellite that Elon has up there that has it on there. I believe he has several. That's been the case for several months. And what do we know about satellites? They're powered by solar electricity, so those would be okay. The network would actually still be up and running. And then, in most recent times, and actually, I should let's pull the article up. Did you guys know that El Salvador is planning to have a quote unquote Bitcoin city? Not only are they planning, they're already far in preparations with this, and the IMF is not happy about this whatsoever. But it's not just the fact that this is going to be a city that is going to be tax-free. All the funds to have the city run is going to be done by the Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin bonds. And the city's going to be at the base of the volcano. Let's see if I can find what I want to tell you guys in here. Ferg Simon, blah, 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 blah. Cryptocurrency project president, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the site would take advantage of the volcano's geothermal energy to power Bitcoin mining. So don't have to worry about their miners and nodes going out, because if the power goes out, because they're literally pulling from energy from a volcano, which doesn't require electricity. They're going to be turning it into electricity, but there you go. That's foolproof right there. Unless somebody goes and who knows, does something bad to El Salvador. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if in the not so far future, we hear something about how El Salvador is bad, or they have an invasion or something, or they have just absolute financial chaos that is targeted, because the people that are in control of the finances of this world do not want people to see what a world is like outside of their system, all right, outside of the banking system. And El Salvador doing this is literally, they're going to have a city that has nothing to do with banks. The banking system is null and void there, all right? And it may actually end up being the way that I don't know. We'll have to see. What may end up being quite prosperous place to be. And I think the people there might not be too upset the fact they don't have to pay taxes. They probably actually might be pretty happy about that. So, yeah, that's another piece of evidence right there. Like, we have people believe in Bitcoin so much. There's already so many stops put in case things could go that bad. All right. It doesn't mean that it's foolproof. No, but at the same time, your bank's not going to work either. Most of our currency, at least in the form of the United States dollar, is digital. It's just numbers on a screen. So if electricity were to go out, you're not getting money from your bank either. You might be able to get cash. But I mean, how many people are going to care about cash if there's no electricity? I probably won't care. I would probably. Someone was like, "Hey, I'll give you cash for your gun." I'll be like, "No, fuck you. Go away from me," because I would be worried about getting fed and staying alive. And I don't know, not having a random psycho try to kill me or take advantage of the fact that electricity's down. Antonio in the house says, "What's up? What's up, dude? Good to see you." So yeah, guys, that's what I think. I mean, there's measures in place. Okay, there's measures in place. So there's not, if someone were to ask you that, now you actually have a rebuttal to give to them. Okay, now you don't have to be like, "Oh, well, there, you got me there," because I gave you guys 4 different things. Does that mean that it's foolproof? No. But at the end of the day, nothing is foolproof. Okay, nothing is foolproof. And if you want to make it to the Citadel, then might need to learn how to use a radio. Okay. Speaking of Citadel, Nasa Dre says the Citadel will definitely Epstein and McAfee, the people there, is successful with only crypto. I was talking to somebody about a Citadel today, and I was like, I already forgot the conversation, but I remember that it was a funny one. Guys. Was this a boring topic, guys? No one showed up tonight. We only got like 7-8 people in here. Guys, I'm leaving. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm just kidding. I'll talk to you guys. You guys want to talk? That's all I really wanted to say, guys, as far as like the explanation of what the possibility is if that happens. And we could sit and theorize about like this and that all night long. But hey, and speaking of Nonstop Dre 360, when you mentioned the first world part, it appears that maybe these third world countries, if the situation happened, might be better off than some of the quote unquote first world countries. Although I would argue now, guys, that America is on its way to a third world country. That's for sure. Sooner than not. And if you think about the quote unquote game theory behind Bitcoin, if you guys don't know anything about that, I want to tell you, Google it something. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a stream about that one time. Think about the game theory behind it. The first movers are going to be the ones that gain the most, right? And like, what does El Salvador have to lose? The IMF, the World Economic Forum, the banking systems, they already hate El Salvador. So like El Salvador has nothing to lose, and they only have something to gain. And I've been told things there, people like it's better there now than it was before they started incorporating the whole Bitcoin nonsense, which I said nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's not nonsense. In fact, it's the opposite nonsense. But the news and the media is telling you that it's nonsense, right? And we're just going to have to see, guys. Very well could see like America turning into worse than El Salvador was like 3 years ago. And then the opposite with El Salvador being like a better country. We'll have to see. I guess a lot of that would depend on how many people in the United States wake up in the near future. And I think that that number is growing more and more every single day. But guys, let me be serious with you guys for a second. Let me move this mic here. Let me be serious with you guys. Hope this thing doesn't get unplugged. Okay. All right. Listen, guys, the economy, the way that it's designed, and I'm not talking about just the United States, any country that uses the banking system, all right, private banking system, by the way, it's all fake, all right? It's all fake. Dollars are just credit. That's all that it is. In essence, it's not credit, it's debt, but it's being credited to you at the expense of others. Actually at the expense of your future self. All right. And the only way for this economy to continue the way that it is for them to either continuously print massive amounts of money, which, by the way, they're like, oh, we're going to start tapering. Oh, okay. So instead of $120 billion a month being printed, or a day, or whatever the fucking number it is, it's going to be 110. That's still an enormous amount of money that's being printed. Or there could be an accident that causes some kind of like reset or something, kind of like in 2008. So one of those two things are going to happen. And if we're being honest with ourselves, like, let's just say if it was you, if you were the one, ask yourself this: if you owned a business and you had two options, the business would either continue to spiral out of control, or you could revamp the business. That's right, Facebook. I'm talking to you, Zuckerberg. Revamp the business so it could be kind of something else and kind of like save at least your foundation. What would you do? You would do the latter, right? You wouldn't just let your business just like spiral out of control. Or maybe you would for as long as you could until you couldn't anymore. So make no mistake, guys, like if you go back through history and look, like this shit's not going to work out. This shit is not going to work out. And people need to like learn about this kind of stuff because and again, throughout history, if you go back and look, when one of these financial systems collapses, all right, yes, it may ramp up slowly over time to the point to where it's over. But once it gets to a certain point, it moves by so fast that it's just like people are in one system and then they're in the next. All right. Now there has to be a second system to hop into. All right. And they're basically like it's already set up for us, guys. It's already set up for us, and it's a non-biased one. It's not going to it's not gonna hide anything from you. It's not gonna cheat you. It's not gonna steal from you. And you know, I think it's like crazy because like it's crazy because why is it that we have this sort of agency in the United States that their sole purpose is to make sure that this an imaginary amount of money that you're supposed to owe the United States from doing the things that you work, i.e. work, doing the things that you're supposed to do. This agency audits just people, everyday people, but those banks don't ever get audited. Why is it that? In fact, the banks that specifically create the monetary policy and the money, why are they not audited? You have to ask yourself, guys. You have to ask, is this suspicious or is there nothing suspicious about this at all? If you think there's nothing suspicious about any of that, well, then I don't know. Go jump off a bridge. Go jump off a bridge. Let's see if we can find information about this too, guys. I've heard that Jack Maurer is going to be talking to the IMF. I'm looking for an article for it. Maybe I'm not going to be able to find it. Let's see if we can go to desk. Maybe you'd be on there. I don't know. You guys don't know who Jack Maurer is. He was the creator of the Lightning Network, and basically, like, the Lightning Network is that vessel that people would be jumping into if shit hits the fan. All right, if everyone's like, this system is going down. Like, I need something that's going to allow me to sustain life the same way that we have now, which, you know, isn't by taking gold pennies and nickels and going to stores and dumping your gold on the table. It's by what? Swiping your card, sending money on a phone app, people sending money across the world at all times now because it's not the 1960s anymore. That's literally basically the only thing that we have that's large enough and can handle the amount of volume, is trustworthy, isn't going to break. Well, it's actually, I would say that it's better than the current monetary system. Jack Maurer is the guy that's responsible for that. And apparently he has a meeting set up to talk to the IMF because apparently the IMF is very angry at him. And he's going to go and try to pitch to them, hey, this is a good thing. Okay, maybe this is it. Let's see. Maybe this is the article. Hold on, guys. Titled, Bitcoin should not be legal in El Salvador, states the IMF. Wowzers. You don't say. Financial Solutions said, so the IMF basically said that the Central American countries' plans to acquire more Bitcoin will require a, quote, very careful analysis of implications for financial stability. The IMF said Bitcoin should not be used as legal tender in El Salvador and urged the Central American country to strengthen the regulations and supervision of the newly established payment ecosystem. Please do not use this other thing that was not made by us. Please use our thing. In a statement published Monday, so this recent Monday, IMF recommended that El Salvador narrow the scope of Bitcoin law and mentioned significant risk that Bitcoin has for consumer protection. So don't be surprised. They're attacking, guys. They're attacking. The IMF said that the announcement of a $1 billion Bitcoin-backed bond made by President Naib on Saturday was not discussed in joint meetings between the government officials and the agency. Of course not. Although the IMF technical analysis did not include the bond announcement, the financial institution said El Salvador's plan to buy more Bitcoin following the bond issuance, along with increasing Bitcoin exposure, will require a very careful analysis of implications for potential risk to financial stability. Wah, wah, wah. So I don't think, let's see. Shiva wallet. Is anything about Jack Maurer? Inherently, blah, 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 blah. Shiva wallet shouldn't be safeguard. Maybe it's a different article. Maybe Jack Maurer tweeted it. Where was that at? What Jerome Powell's second term means for Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Somebody go check out his Twitter. Maybe it's on there. Maybe it is on there. We shall see. Eat some bugs. Do you guys like eating some bugs? Don't worry. They're going to want you to soon. Very, very soon. JP says, money bag, boat, rocket ship, moon emoji. Quarter emoji, not moon. Excuse me. T-Man Scott says, besides using radio, if internet service providers went down or started censoring our internet freedom, is there a way we can jerry-rig or generate our own decentralized internet? Yeah. You can do that through the Bitcoin network, through Radio Wave, apparently. And actually, that I should look into that more. I should look into figure out exactly how you do that. But it would be like, okay, so like think of it like this, Scott. You know how when you have, when you're at, like, have you ever anybody ever worked at a company where when you log in your computer, you go to this website and you only reach the website when you're inside the office? If you go home, you can't reach a website. It's because that website is what's called an intranet. It's a network that's specific to one localized area organization. You can create intranets, quote unquote intranets, with the Bitcoin network using radio waves. So yes, but they wouldn't be able to send, you wouldn't be able to like have this like all the way across the world. Well, somebody sent something far across the world through the radio wave, but I'm thinking for a person by person basis that can actually like, you know, get the equipment and set the stuff up, it's probably going to be small enough to do like maybe in your town. All right. Here's ecosystem is big. Yes, indeed. America is easily headed towards a second world country with all the mentally unstable, unhealthy population on antidepressants, infinite money being printed. I was listening to a guy named Matthew Crowder, and he was talking about if you go back and look at videos of people on the beach from the 1960s to today in America, it's almost, and in other countries too, but more so in America specifically, it's almost like it's not even the same species of human. Like the people just look so unhealthy and they're just blah. So yeah, you're right about that. JP says, now I definitely have a reason to travel if he follows through with it. Yes. Sad part is the worst thing to get more normies ask for more free stuff from the government. Yeah, well, if all that stuff happens, those people might not be in existence at that point, or it would. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, but like those people literally might not exist because they don't know what it's like to do anything for themselves. So I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't be around to have that happen. Normies, oppress me harder, government, with the bugs and gulags, with weekly root beer shots. Yes, I love me some root beer float shots. Be a degen in normal clothing. Yes. Normie clothing, but yes, I understand. Nonstop Dre says, how quickly do you think that the normies will accept the FedCoin crypto when they release it? I think there's going to be like a hard fork of humanity. I've talked about this before. And the people that can't get on the other side, they're going to be like, they're not going to have an option. So they're going to have to immediately accept it, or else they're not going to be able to buy or sell or do anything without it. So, do you like being tracked? Do you like eating bugs? Then just go ahead and reelect the guy, the resident in the White House, which I don't think I need to have a comment, but I think you guys know. I think you guys know what I was going to say anyway. And plus, I don't think that guy's making decisions either. I think that's pretty apparent. And I mean, whoever is making the decisions is either completely illogical or they have ill intent to the people that those decisions are being made for. Nonstop Trade 360 also says the land of the whales and the oppressed nowadays. Yep, that's why I just ignore all of them. That is why I just ignore all of them. All right, guys. That's all I got. Tiny nuggets for you guys today. Wish the stream, this one could have been bigger and better, but I think I got the information out that I wanted to. And that's it. So I love you guys. You guys have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Say Wednesday? What day is it? I don't even know anymore. Hold on. Yeah, tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And since Friday is not Thanksgiving, I will be having a stream on Friday. Later, guys.